Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Snow White's apple is rotten. She's
Shocker.
rotten. Oh my
Shocker,
gosh. Remember, just a couple days ago, everybody was like, oh my gosh, Snow White's like the best thing ever. It's the bestest movie ever. This movie's pure gold. It's fantastic. Everything's great. No, it's not. We knew they were overcompensating.
Well, it's funny because some of the critics are still kind of acting that way.
Some of them. So we're going to talk about this. Now, of course, these reviews do change, but we have 82 reviews. This explains exactly why they waited until like the day before to drop the review embargo. But yeah, 49% was 45 earlier. I don't think this one is ever going to get to fresh given the number of reviews that are in, but who knows? Maybe Disney can pull a rabbit out of its ass or something. I don't know.
Stranger things have happened.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about its tracking for 100 million globally, which is not fantastic. And then we're going to talk about Rachel Zegler, according to the Daily Mail, hitting out at white movie executives after accused of making Snow White woke.
No, I actually saw this someplace else. It was from an interview, and she was talking. It's about West Side Story.
Yeah.
And she's like basically Kevin hissy about it. So, which right now you're already in the shithole. So I guess her thought is, well, I can't do any worse.
Yeah,
I would just stop talking personally.
Like, just rip the damn Band-Aid off, right? Sometimes it's easier just to get it all out. That she's gonna have to, after this, she is gonna have to massively reinvent her public image because she's gonna be cooked. Her career is gonna be cooked after this. Let's talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Don't have it pulled up, but go out to clownfishtv.substack.com, and we do post updates when we do videos. You can get notifications because YouTube is really weird that way. They don't give people notifications. So where do we want to go first? We want to talk Rotten Tomatoes, or we want to talk box office?
Well, let's talk box office, and then we'll talk about the Rotten Tomatoes, which kind of ties in. Okay, so yesterday, a bunch of different news outlets are running with, oh my gosh, it's tracking for $100 million. Yeah, okay, but they weren't. Some of them weren't telling you that means globally. So it's tracking for 100 million globally. In America, they're only expecting it to do like 45 to 50 million dollars domestically, which is really shit because the closest thing to that was Dumbo in 2019. All their princess movies did way better. Dumbo is the closest one at $45.9 million. And there's no way they're even predicting it to hit anywhere near Cinderella. And it's possible it could go as bad as Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. It's possible. Who knows? And that's in 4,200 theaters. They're still expecting it to do that badly in the U.S.
Wow. In Dumbo, Tim Burton has actually kind of disavowed Dumbo. He say wish he'd never done it. Mm-hmm. Because that was so bad, he wished he'd never done it. But paycheck.
Michael Keaton has said before that he feels he let them down because he didn't do his best. He didn't even try really.
They phoned it in. And Tim Burton's even like, we just phoned it in because we're getting paid.
Yeah, and and some people didn't go see it because it didn't look that good to them, and now they're not going to see Snow White. We could be wrong. They could totally flock to the theaters, but so far all indicators are saying no. And then the rest of the money is they're estimating 50 million from the international market. I'm not sure how many markets that's going to be off the top of my head, but they're saying tracking towards. So that to me implies they don't even know if it's going to hit that much.
Wow.
Okay, but we're talking Dumbo levels.
Dumbo levels. Somebody's at Dumbo at Disney for letting this thing go through. They have multiple opportunities to jump ship, and instead they just doubled down on it, and then they actually threw more money at it. I guess you get to a point where it's like we already have hundreds of millions of dollars in it. Why not?
The narrative isn't helping either because I'm on different Disney boards, which I mention all the time. Well, I'm on Facebook on the Walt Disney's advertising, their sponsored advertisement they keep running. Yep. The comments on it, like immediately, if people are like, oh, I don't want to see this movie, there's like all these people, and it's usually a dude, actually, who's like, that's because, he's going to be more triggered, what they call them, Trumpers.
Triggered,
that, you're Republican.
Maggots,
yes, you're a MAGA, triggered Republican, Trumper, racist. The same typical, I'm talking points where if you don't like it, and then they'll mention the dwarves, they don't mention, the fact that no one wants this another live action movie, the fact that they think Snow White shouldn't have been remade anyway. It's just all about Zegler and, how everybody's a terrible person and you're all Republicans and you're all somehow white straight men who don't like this movie. And I actually ripped one a new a-hole because I was like, yes, because, nobody else other than white straight men who are Republican want to watch this or don't want to watch this movie. But the narrative's not helping because they're out there attacking people, that might have come to their movie. They're attacking them anyway. They're basically like, you don't go to this, you're a terrible person. And people are like, oh, kiss my ass,
So that's what's so damn weird about this. The people that are the most interested in this movie are the middle-aged, conservative-leaning men because nobody else gives a shit about this movie. The target demographic doesn't give a shit.
I think there's a lot of women who are interested, but they're all older women. Like, I love Snow White as a kid. And it's, of course, Zegler did nothing wrong. And it's like, no, Zegler did a crap ton wrong, but she's only part of the problem for the movie. There are other reasons people aren't going to see this movie.
Do they have, I saw a sequence. Did they put the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train ride in this movie?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I didn't see any of it.
Mine card or something. I'm like,
that wouldn't surprise me because, we got to synergize everything.
Well, that's it. Because kids today, like that, you talked about being older women. Like Snow White does not mean anything to today's kids. Snow White was definitely old school Disney. Mm-hmm. And I think we were probably the last generation that had any kind of connection to it because he used to run it all the time on, like Wonderful World of Disney. And we always saw clips and we had the, Snow White's Scary Adventures and the rides and stuff. But like today's kids, I don't think they care. I don't think they care at all about Snow White.
I don't think they care about Disney princess stuff in general, but that's just me.
The newer one, like Moana and Frozen and stuff,
but I mean, like most of the classic ones, they don't, they might, but most of them don't. I think the majority of people that are going to be interested in this are going to be like older women.
Yeah, older women, cat ladies, and Republican men.
I can't say that. Given my way, I probably would be a cat lady, so I can't say much.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, because I'm not wrong. But anyways,
all right. Let's
I have to adopt them all. Anyway,
you have to adopt them all. They all need homes. So these are the reviews here. We're gonna go. Let's see. All critics. Should we go all critics or top critics?
It's up to you.
Top critics. Let's see here.
Ooh.
Let's do the top.
Okay, interesting. The top critics, it goes real rotten. When it's all critics, there's a bunch of fresh start in. Okay.
Irish Times. Most distracting flaws are rooted in the problematic recreation of animated material. The permanent magic hour lighting is hard to look at. The decision to cartoonize the dwarves alongside human actors is largely problematic.
Yes.
LA Times, a fascinating case study in today's impossible contradictions, a magic mirror reflecting the tensions of the current times.
I can't wait to go see this.
What does it have to do with Snow White? RogerEbert.com. Some parts of the film work better than others, but none of it has the sweetness and imagination of the animated feature. This
never does.
The Snow White is not the fairest of them all. It's just fair. Hey you guys says visually stunning, thematically rich adaptation that modernizes it.
A fairy tale for a new generation.
Oh,
that reminds us all the power of courage, kindness, and believing in a better future. Okay, okay. We all know. We all know how this is going to go.
Toronto Star says there's nothing magical in the movie. It nevertheless feels uncanny. Spending $250 million to make a film in which absolutely nothing works is kind of a dark art in and of itself. Even this one.
Wait, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say with Snow White, they've finessed their formula, do the bare minimum to make a film, then simply slap a bunch of cutesy CGI animals all over it and hope no one notices. 1 out of 5.
Well, here I was gonna say the BBC. They have it fresh, but the story is cluttered, the tone is muddled, and the pacing is off.
How's
it doesn't
that
make
fresh?
it a disaster. In some ways, the identity crisis is what makes it worth seeing.
Oh my God! So it's worth going to see it because it's a train wreck.
New York Post. This timely classic, a groundbreaking achievement for animation, has been turned into another pointless and awkward live-action automaton. Sorry, I can't read. That vanishes from your mind the second it's over.
But that's just it. We said before, like all the drama around Snow White is going to dissipate within a couple of months. It's going to be like I was looking at that list of movies and the box office take for these movies, and I'm like, I forgot half of these existed. I swear to God, like, oh yeah, they did have a live action Aladdin. Oh yeah, that's right. I had Will Smith in it. I totally forgot about that. Oh my God, they have more than one Alice in Wonderland. I forgot about that. Oh, Pete's Dragon. I don't know what the hell they were
Pete's
thinking.
Dragon was awful. Sorry.
So depressing. It was
It
like
was
such
sad. I'm like, I don't want to be sad.
And all I remember about Cruella was Blondie soundtrack and the CGI dogs killing
I
the
didn't
bad
watch
guy
it,
or
so-
something.
But back to the reviews. Wait, there was another one. Okay, wait. So this is Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone, who we know leans, decidedly very far left.
Yeah.
This Snow White may not be the worst live action adaptation of an animated touchstone, though it's a strong contender for its blandness. The movie does earn points as a bedtime story, however, because it'll definitely put you to sleep.
Oh my God. Do you want to get sleepy? You take your kids to Snow White.
Seattle. The end result is neither good enough to be a classic nor bad enough to be a guilty pleasure. It's just there.
It's just there. That's every live action Disney movie. Like at least the Alice in Wonderland movies had a different take, and they were Tim Burton, and they had kind of a different take. But yeah, I forgot there were two of them. Damn.
Then here, New York Magazine Vulture. The most pragmatic aspect of Snow White is that with its plasticky set design and gift shop tacky costuming, it already looks like it takes place in a theme park. No adaptations necessary.
Wow. Oh,
it goes
God.
on and on.
Yeah, Newsday. Decades from now, will anyone remember what Disney was even attempting to do here? Probably not, but I'll bet the 1937 original will still hold up.
Yep.
That's, again, every one of they need to stop making these movies. Exists in a weirdly artificial netherworld. It's so weird when I'm looking at Minecraft. I'm like, Minecraft looks like shit, but it still looks better.
Wait,
it's so white.
Did you see this one though? Where was that? Where I just saw it. I was a second. Okay, here. This is a fresh Andrew Burnap as the handsome, not prince. He's not a prince. Handsome, not Prince Jonathan. So he's not a prince, guys. Proves a real comedic asset to Snow White. Zegler does not, but her vocals regularly astound. Godot excels on neither of those fronts, but at least she looks the part. And that's fresh. But it's not, fresh. Okay, he's not a prince. He's just somebody named Jonathan.
So she make him a prince because she marries him and she's royalty and he gets
he becomes the prince then?
Yeah. She makes him a prince.
I don't know. I just, okay, Snow White finds modern relevance amid old material. That just tells me it's going to suck.
So this is what I was afraid of. I said before, like the trailer, they were leaning into the nostalgia, but it's very obvious that everything she was talking about being super woke and progressive, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
It's not even a prince, guys. It's a guy named Jonathan.
That's why I can't say someday my prince will come because there ain't no prince.
Well, go to all the critics and see what they're saying over there because these are just like the tops.
Movie Bob in here too. How the hell Movie Bob?
And after the negatives are coming out, that all of a sudden all these positives start dropping like crazy. Just FYI. It was funny. It's great. It isn't terrible. It's just fair. It isn't great. It isn't terrible. It's just fair.
How is Christian Toto? Okay, Rachel Zegler's voice, presence, power, heavily reimagined Disney classic, and that's a 3 out of 4.
They power the heavily reimagined. That's what he said. Power heavily
reimagined Disney classic. Nobody wants that. I guess, at least Snow White wasn't a dude. I guess, yeah, we'll give you that.
Yeah, or that he wasn't dating a girl. Oh God, it's just, this film this is a film that tries very hard to not take risks or even acknowledge that risks exist. The result is a hodgepodge of awful CGI, contrived new songs, and a story full of plot lacking in substance.
A story full of plot? There really wasn't much plot to the original Snow White. It was very easy to follow. Wow, this is not good. The most distracting flaws. Oh, that was the Irish.
We read that already.
That one. Yeah, so Caitlin Booth from Bleeding Cool. Snow White justifies its existence more than other Disney remakes, but no matter how charming Zegler is, it still can't capture the magic of the original. That's not a positive. That's
wait. Geeks of Color. It's a magically mixed bag. But most of it works. I'm just like, look, nobody wants these live action remakes. That's strike number one. Zegler could have kept her mouth shut and not been stupid, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And people still wouldn't have wanted this. They don't want this shit. They're done. They're tired of it. You might get some Lilo and Stitch and maybe Moana might work. But most of it, people aren't wanting it. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I love this one. This is coming from Playlist. White interjecting its social commentary. Snow White otherwise tackles much of the same ideas, but it's all put together in a very familiar and garish package. The fairest of the land, far from it. C minus.
I think that's supposed to be Weil interjecting its social commentary, but he said white, which is even funnier.
It's too white. Snow White's too white, even though she's not.
Okay, wait, this one. None of that is enough to bolster the piecemeal storytelling and odd characterizations in this Disney Princess garage sale. We almost had to whistle while we watched because getting through this movie was work.
Oh my God. You're supposed to love it. You're supposed to love it because it's a progressive Snow White. You're supposed to love it.
It's high no.
High no. Oh my God. So again, this hopefully, if this movie bombs, the reason they make more of these live action movies is because they make money, and we had some that were okay, but people went because, again, they were newer, like Aladdin and Lion King and, even to some degree Little Mermaid. But like when you start going back to the older movies and then you try to reimagine them, like who is, I know it sounds very cliche. Who is this for? But who is it for? Because kids today don't like these characters as much as previous generations, and
At least with Maleficent, it was supposed to be Sleeping Beauty, but it was done differently. And Alice in Wonderland were done differently. So they were like a different take. So, I mean, those ones, were kind of interesting. Cinderella was pretty much the same thing. Beauty and the Beast was the same thing, they both worked. But I think people are just over it. They're tired of Disney trying to bilk it. They're never as good as the originals. And they won't stop doing it. And then the CGI looks awful. And then there was all these different, there's been so many different controversies around this movie. I don't know what they're expecting.
I don't know. I think at this point, they're just trying to rip the Band-Aid off. And speaking of ripping the Band-Aid off, we're going to talk about more Rachel Zegler controversy. Man, she is going to have to, I don't know what this kid is going to do to fix her image after this, especially if it's a box office failure, because this is not looking good. So yeah, she's claiming, and you talked about this the other day. You mentioned it to me the other day.
I mentioned it to you the other day. Yes, I saw it.
Zegler claims white studio executives repeatedly questioned her Latina, at least it's not Tinkerbell, Latina identity during her casting for West Side Story. They
didn't even call it the scandal-plagued actress.
The scandal-plagued actress, 23. God, imagine burning yourself to the ground at 23 years old. I didn't even know what I wanted to do, really, at 23. She discussed her struggle to prove her heritage in a new interview with Allure, released on Tuesday. I wouldn't have put that out there, given the way things are going right now. There's confusion because I don't have a single ounce of Latin in my name, Zegler, who is currently engulfed in controversy amid the release of woke Snow White. When I was in the running for Maria and West Side Stories, they kept calling to ask if I was legit. I remember thinking, do you want me to bring my grandmother in? I will. I'll bring her into the studio if you want to meet her. Basically, I'll bring my La Tinkerbell family in to prove that I am actually La Tinkerbell.
Yes, she was bewildered about a bunch of white executives and having to prove her identity to them.
Okay, so let me reframe this for you, because this is we're talking Steven Spielberg. We're talking Steven Spielberg's people, right?
Right.
You just threw them after you burned Snow White to the ground with your mouth. Now you just threw Steven effing Spielberg's people under the bus in a new magazine interview.
She's just like burning herself down in real time. She's not smart. No.
Do you think anybody's going to hire you after that? Do you think, because you know what I'm saying? Because it's Steven Spielberg. He's one of the most powerful directors, producers of all time in Hollywood. And you're just like, yeah, well, his asshole executives, they didn't think I was actually Hispanic. So it's like, yeah, I wouldn't run with that in a magazine that's trying to apparently do damage control, because that just makes you look petty and
I know
stupid.
Right now is not the time, but
now
she did it anyway. So.
It would have been a nice anecdote on a podcast in 20 years.
Yeah, or give it a few years after this, or even 6 months from now, because no one's going to care. Even 2 months, no one's going to care then. It's probably out of theaters. She said it's an interesting experience to be part of that diaspora in the current climate we live in. But I love being Colombian. You sure you're not more Polish?
Yeah, oh God. Okay, so
the reality is I was given a chance because I could sing. My only prayer for the future of diversity and inclusion is that we invest in it and nurture talent no matter what they look like. That's why it's so important for the next generation to see movies like Snow White, to realize there's nothing wrong with choosing to do what's right, and that it doesn't have to be with anger or a clenched fist, says the woman who was saying the shit she was saying about Trump and about, Palestine and all that crap.
I hope they know no peace. Wasn't that what
Yes.
she said? Wasn't that
Yes.
what she said?
Anger can be a powerful emotion, but doesn't bring the brightest future. When neither does running your mouth. Snow White chooses kindness and still makes change, which means they're going to be rebellion. Power takes many forms, and I hope we'll see a new dawn of kindness and acceptance. Acceptance like you accepted Trump supporters in the next couple of years, and people don't see the need to use hate to cause further division.
Bitch,
you
what?
literally were doing that in all lowercase letters.
What? You are the last person. She is the last person after everything's gone down to talk about turn the other cheek and being peaceful and whatever. And I would not throw Steven Spielberg's people under the bus. God.
Well, no one said she was smart.
She's unlikable. She's more annoying and bitchy than
Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, anyway, Snow White's going to be fun to see how this goes. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, slow motion train wreck, guys. This is going to be fun. And then, yeah, they're right, though. Everybody's going to forget about this movie in 2 months.
I mean, part of me wants to kind of go see it, but then I'm like, out of morbid curiosity, just so I can be honest about it. But then the other part of me is like, do I want to sit through this? Do I want to pay for it?
No.
Do I want to, and I don't know if I do.
I guess you can if you want to. You went to Little Mermaid, but actually our daughter wanted to go see The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I mean, I might have to go to where the theater is tomorrow anyway, so I'm kind of like, should I go see it and see how bad it really is, and then I can tell you all?
I have to go see a matinee and be like,
I mean, and then I can just tell you, here's how it really was, guys. I don't know. Maybe. I'll think about it. But then I'm also like, do I want to waste my time to sit through this crap? And I'm like, I don't know. But then if it's good, I'll say it's good. If it come out of it and it's good, I'd be like, yeah, it's good. Here's why.
Did you get
but I don't think that's going to, huh?
I survived Snow White.
I survived Snow White, yeah. Oh, God. I just don't think it's going to be, I mean, looking at the critics' comments, I'm like, oh, boy.
I think it's going to be a very mid movie if you have zero expectations and don't care if they politicize the original 1937 movie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the bar for Disney is really low right now, so there's that.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, it's basically Disney Plus fodder that you have to pay extra for.
Yeah, I just don't know if I can make myself do it. Well, we'll see.
All right, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
I'm sure Monday is going to be very interesting. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.